Yo, what's up? This is your boy lugnuts.guapo coming at you from Maverick Harley-Davidson, and this is the comparison that should always be present in people's minds when they think about the Roadster and the Street Rod. I've seen the Street Rod compared to other Sportsters, which I don't think is a fair fight. I mean, think about it. Inverted front suspension, got your performance shocks on the back, but you got piggyback suspension is basically what it is on a Street Rod, versus the taller suspension and inverted front forks on a Roadster. Some people will say, well, that's a 1200cc and that's a 750, that's why no one has ever compared the two. But honestly, they're completely different motors, so you can't really say that, mainly because... Oh, go ahead, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to blur that out, thank you. I am recording. Oh, forgive him. Anywho, so yeah, so 1200 and the 750 motor are completely different. Liquid cooled on the Street 750. If you've ever ridden a V-Rod, it's kind of the same feeling in the sense that it's high revs. And on a Evo, obviously most people have ridden Sportster, so they know how the Evo performs. So they're completely different motors, and from zero to all the way. I mean, if you did a drag race, essentially, that would actually win, and believe it or not, by like a second or so, which is pretty significant. And then that's considering that that's a 750 and that's a 1200. So they're both kind of like the performance bikes of their class. I would see this from the Street 500 and 750. Then you got the Street Rod, and from the Sportsters, where you have the 883 iron, the 1200, the 48s, and the 1200 customs. Like, out of the two lineups, the Streets and the Sportsters, these are the performance bikes. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with this Street Rod. I recently fell in love with the Street Rods. I love that they're I love how light they are. Alright, so I didn't really have much of a choice over here, so I'd give a little adjustment here on this shebang. Let's see, give me a second so I can modify it. I had no idea how I was gonna make this work. I guess that's as good as it's gonna get right there. So I hope you like this side of my face or helmet, because that's all you're gonna get from that angle. Ding! Anyway, alright, let's get cracking. Man, this weather is horrible. Just all muggy and it's just nasty. But when you get moving, it's actually pretty nice. Alright, Street Rod, my friends. Huh? Man, this is like, again, much like the V-Rod, because the motor's basically has a lot of the same same stuff that the V-Rod was made out of. The same kind of, a lot of the designs are very similar. It's a high revving motor, and a lot of people say that they don't like the Street Rod because of how the motor performs, but you can't treat this like a Sportster. You can't treat this like a big V-twin. You just can't. They perform completely different at different RPMs. Let's see, let's lean this thing over. Very mildly leaning it. Listen, street rods, there's a couple things that I really don't like. I'm pretty cramped up in here. I'm about 5'11" or 6 foot. I've never really officially measured myself. I think I should do that at some point. My license says that I'm 6'1", which I'm pretty sure that's not right. That it might be 6 foot. But this thing makes some interesting noises. I mean, just if you're not used to this motor, it does make some weird noises. You get on the higher RPMs and that's when you really feel it pull. Now, the inverted suspension and those piggybacks, man, they're wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Especially around corners, and how light this bike is. It's awesome. Road. Let's see, I'm gonna downshift in a second and go! Oh man, it's a fantastic motorcycle. It really is. You can beat the crap out of it. It's, you know, liquid cool. These motors are really reliable. If you look at, you know, ask any technician, some of them will just, you know, traditionalists and think that, you know, it's not a Harley and whatever. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. How often do you really see V-rods going in and out of shops to get fixed? You really don't. You hardly ever see them. And that's because they're very reliable. Now, techs will tell you they're a pain to work on. I don't know about street 750s, because this bike hasn't been out for that long. So we haven't seen many come through. But they're very reliable. That motor is awesome. And as I showed you earlier, once you downshift into higher RPM, this is a great thing to scoot around, man. Now, I can tell you this position, it's not the worst. It really isn't. But it's not the most comfortable either. Let's see, lean. Alright, so the honest truth about this bike, I don't think it's the best looking bike by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, that's my opinion. You might think that this thing is amazing. I'm not a fan of this tank. Not a fan at all. I'm not a fan of the metric style buttons that we have displayed here. This is not your typical Harley buttons. Harley usually has the turn signals left for left and right for right. This one has kind of like a metric style turn signal where you like do left or right on one side of the handlebar. The switches and everything, I'm not a fan of. I absolutely dislike that, and it makes this bike feel like a metric bike, and that's not including how the motor feels. The personality of this motor is very unlike Harley-Davidson. You get on Twin Cam, Evo, Panhead, Shovelhead, their personalities are just very, what's the word? Very abrupt, very in your face, like the vibrations that it creates up and down your spine. It's, yeah, it doesn't feel, that's what Harley feels like, and that's why a lot of people that's why people don't like the streets or the V-Rod, because it doesn't have that typical Harley you know, feel. But it doesn't mean that this is not a Harley. It's a completely breed of Harley, and it's a really good one too. I can't tell you how much I hate this tank. I hate how low it sits, and like the lines just don't make sense to me. See if I can do a little U-turn here. Lean it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can really hit the throttle hard when you're coming out of a turn, and this thing just takes it, and very smoothly too. very smoothly. It's really impressive. Again, besides the seating position, which is, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, a sport bike, so it's not gonna be the most comfortable in this, like your in-town commute or whatever. It's super light and it's a lot of fun to throw around, and it's a fantastic bike. I don't know what else to tell you. It is an amazing bike. So if you've never just ridden one, I suggest you do, and just know and keep in mind that the rev limiter on this is way higher than any other Harley. So think V-Rod when you're shifting this thing. So high RPMs, that's where this motor is happy. So let's get cracking to the other bike, which is the 1200 Roadster. Ta-da-da-da. Let's see, where should I put this camera? Let's put it right here. How about that? All right. So, yeah, that's a horrible position for that. I'm just gonna have to put it on the tank. Just don't like I don't like this thing in my face. That's just not what I like. Not my preference. So, how about that? Does that look good? All right, good. If you don't, well, you're gonna see this side of my helmet. All right. That sound, that's the sound, my friends. All right. Right out of the gate, I'll tell you the biggest differences that I'm noticing is that the seating position is much more comfortable on this. I don't feel crammed in, even though it has mid controllers. My knees are not as high up, and listen to that. That's why you buy Sportsters, right there. That's why you buy a Sportster. Oh man, I love the gauges on this. I love that its tachometer is the first thing displayed, because that's telling you what this bike is meant to be. It's telling you, I need you to pay attention to that, because the speed, you'll feel it immediately. I mean, it does show you the speed you're going on the digital aspect of it, and it'll show you the gear that you're in. This bike feels more solid than that street rod. Oh man, you know, I really like the street rod. I really do, with all my heart. Enjoy riding that bike a lot, but I don't know that it beats this bike. I don't think it does, not even one bit. This is obviously a heavier bike, and it is your 5-speed Evo motor versus your 6-speed street motor, or Revolution motor as it's called. The vibrations that this thing evokes, it gives you chills, man. When you're on a street rod, that power at higher RPMs feels very calculated, almost very metric, very like it was put together in a lab and everything is clean and pristine. That's what that motor feels like. It's too clean, it's too perfect. That's why this bike is amazing. This bike was put together in some backwoods shed in the middle of nowhere, and it's amazing. Think about it this way. If you're into cars, I'm about to use a comparison that will make sense if you like cars as well as you do motorcycles. Think about it as a Dodge Viper. That's what this is. And think of the street rod as like a McLaren, right? McLarens are quiet, they're amazing cars. But tell me, are you really going to have that much more fun in a McLaren than you would in a Dodge Viper ACR? Oh, the feels, man. I'm About 3,000 RPM right now. I'm gonna downshift here in a second. Make sure there's no cops around the corner. Oh man. Oh, you know, I have to be honest with you. This bike, the way it makes me feel, the street rod could never make me feel this way. There is such a raw emotion that you get. The street rod just doesn't do that for me. It doesn't. And I understand. Listen, if you're into performance bikes that are quiet and you know you don't care for the vibration, that's fine. Street rod is for you. It's a great bike, and I truly enjoy riding it. I love how light it is, which this isn't. But the suspension setup on this is absolutely unreal. You hit the front brake and you feel such control. All right, about to open it up. 3,000 RPM, give or take, and oh man, just like that. This puts tears of joy on my face. Tears of joy. Listen, both bikes perform in a way that you would not expect from a Harley-Davidson. That's just, if you come from a sport bike world, this is completely different, and yet at the same time it's the exact same thing. Man, listen, if a cafe racer, kind of like a small town bike, is what you're looking for, these two bikes are awesome options for you. They really are. But I can guarantee you 9 out of 10 of you are gonna ride this thing like it should be ridden. If you ride it like it was meant to be ridden, this would put the biggest smile on your face, and that's just a fact. Oh man. Anywho, that's all I got for you guys today. Check us out on Instagram at Mav Harley, or on Facebook at Maverick Harley-Davidson. If you like this video and want to see more of these videos, subscribe! Smash that subscribe button. Make it happen, Captain. And yeah, if you want to test ride any of these bikes, call us here at 972-245-1492. Schedule a test ride, make it yours, and get some wind therapy. Oh man, good times. Later. Oh, someone's going to test ride that street rod, baby. Oh.